this is Ray Wan with Constellation Research. I'm here with Jim Ryan, the CEO of Flexera. But more importantly, I'm here to talk about what is going on. We see an environment of data producers, data consumers. There's a whole bunch of shifts that are happening, especially with the transition to hybrid, the transition to alpha on premises, to new types of models. And it's really changing the way people look at IT asset management, licensing. What kind of problems and what kind of business problems is Flexera solving in this complicated environment?
The problems that we're solving have been immense and large for many, many years. And ironically, as we drive simplicity into the way in which enterprises procure and use technology, it's had an unintended consequence where it just throws off millions of dollars in unintended risk, not to mention nefarious actors coming in and potentially, doing bad things to an enterprise. So it's dollars, it's time, it's reputational damage, motherhood and apple pie.
And so one of the most important assets in the digital age is data, right? How do we do this? You guys have amazing amounts of data. What are you guys doing on that side?
You can't manage or secure what you can't see. So it does start with the rudimentary step. Anytime you talk about data, is you've got to collect that data. But just collecting that data isn't good enough. Think back to a time when Tower Records existed. Tower Records had an inordinate amount of data within their record shop. But if I were to go to you, Ray, and say, listen, walk into that Tower Records and I want you to tell me exactly how many genres of classic rock are contained in that store among 45s, LPs, CDs, DVDs, whatever media they had in there. It would take you days, if not weeks or months to do that. But what we've done is we've not only collected data, or what we do is we collect data at Flexera, but the magic of the magician is really curating and enriching that data to provide it context. So why is Spotify being used by everybody under the sun nowadays to listen to their music? It's because they've curated and normalized and enriched data. Now, when I ask you how many albums you have under genre rock on all of your playlists, you can answer that question in a matter of seconds. And the same thing applies with data in an enterprise. How many titles of Microsoft you have out there? What are the exposures that you've got on-prem and SaaS and cloud with respect to your Microsoft O365? It's all about finding what's out there and then providing contextualization to that so that you can drive value into the business.
I've done tens of thousands of software contract negotiations. One of the most important pieces is being able to get an inventory. Nobody ever has an accurate inventory unless they've got a software tool. The other big trend that's happening along the way is this hybrid IT trend. Tell us a little bit more about it and kind of what role does IT data play into this hybrid environment?
To a large extent, we see it as just a continuation of the problems we've been solving. I mean, if we were having this conversation 10 years ago, we would have been focused on talking about identifying what's on your desktop and data center. VMware came along and we started to have to crack open virtual machines and find out what's there. As you now talk about hybrid computing, you still have desktop, you still have data center, we still talk about VMs, but now we talk about containers and cloud and multi-cloud. And the problem has just gotten larger and more difficult to navigate because you can't have a conversation on just what am I running on my on-prem estate, right? Oracle, IBM, Microsoft, they're going to audit you once. You're going to sign one enterprise license agreement, and they're going to ask you to tell them exactly what you have and what you're using across that entire spectrum of your environment.
What trends are happening in IT? What are you seeing? What are you seeing that's shifting in terms of buyer behavior from your customers, your partners? What are they telling you?
Cloud continues to be at the forefront of what's on everybody's mind. And right now, everybody's plowing a lot of resources into developing cloud. We think that the day has come and it'll only become more prevalent where people are going to want to know exactly what am I getting for that. When you look at what that budget line item is doing for the amount of money you're spending on cloud, it's going up at a rate that I would argue is probably unsustainable over the long term. And people are coming to us asking, what is the impact and how can we drive that down? Or how can we at least sleep better at night knowing that we're optimizing our spend in that area?
Thanks a lot for your time. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it, Ray.